Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Ravana, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottarashata Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatt Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhattadas Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhugan Ki Vartamanacharya Vrinda Ki. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshughuन्मीलितं येन Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminite Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye. Ashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. We are reciting from the fourth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 13th chapter, text number 21. Vidura Uvacha Tasya Shila Nidhe Sadho Brahmanyasya Mahatmanaha Rajnya Kathama Bhudushta Prajayat Vimanayayo Vidura Uvacha Tasya Shila Nidhe Sadho Brahmanyasya Mahatmanaha Rajnya Kathama Bhudushta Prajayat Vimanayayo Vidura Uvacha Tasya Shila Nidhe Sadhor Brahmanyasya Mahatmanaha Rajnya Kathama Bhudushta Prajayat Vimanayayo Vidura Uvacha Tasya Shila Nidhe Sadhor Brahmanyasya Mahatmanaha Rajnya Kadama Buddhushta Prajayat Vimanayayo Vidura Uvacha Tasya Shila Nidhe Sadhor Brahmanyasya Mahatmanaha Rajnya Katama Bhudushta Pradayat Vimanayayo. Matajis? Vidura Uvacha Tasya Shila Nidhe Sadhor Brahmanyasya Mahatmanaha Pradayat Vimanayayo. Vidura Uvacha. Vidura said, Tasya, of him, Anga, Shila Nidhe, reservoir of good characteristics. Sadho, saintly person. Brahmanyasya, lover of Brahminical culture. Mahatmanaha, great soul. Rajnyaha, of the king. Katham, how? Abhut, it was. Dushta, bad. Praja, son. Yat, by which? Vimanaha, being indifferent. Yayav, he left. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Vidura inquired from the sage Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, King Anga was very gentle. He had high character and was a saintly personality and lover of Brahminical culture. How is it that such a great soul got a bad son like Vena, because of whom he became indifferent to his kingdom and left it? Just like sometimes people ask a congregation leader who is preaching to hundreds of people and bringing them to Krishna consciousness, but their son is not interested in Krishna consciousness. So people wonder, how is it that you have brought so many people to Krishna consciousness, but your son is headlong going in material life. And that comes as a surprise to some people. Similarly, here also, Vidura is surprised about Anga is such a noble soul. Even in his mind, he did not commit any, sin. That is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Such a pure soul, he would never utter a word improperly. He was very respectful to Brahmins, very aligned with Vedic literatures, faithful devotee of God. In such a family, how did such a son like Vena was born? So he was surprised. Purport. In family life, a man is supposed to live happily with father, mother, wife, and children. But sometimes, under certain conditions, a father, mother, child, or wife becomes an enemy. It is said by Chanakya Pandit that a father is an enemy when he is too much in debt. A mother is an enemy if she marries for a second time. A wife is an enemy when she is very beautiful. And a son is an enemy when he is a foolish rascal. In this way, when a family member becomes an enemy, it is very difficult to live in family life or remain a householder. Generally, such situations occur in the material world. Therefore, according to Vedic culture, one has to take leave of his family members just after his 50th year so that the balance of his life may be completely devoted in search of Krishna consciousness. One should be fortunate to have a ideal father, ideal mother, or ideal son, or ideal wife. An ideal means devotee. If one has a devotee father, like Rishabhadev was a devotee father. He was Lord himself comes as Rishabhadev. He lived life as an exemplary king, ruling the world in alignment with the Vedic literatures. If you study about Rishabhadeva's role as a king, he tells all his 100 sons that in this world, the living creatures are superior to dead matter. And amongst the living creatures, he says, there are animals and birds which are very dull. So humans are superior. And amongst the humans, those who follow Varnashrama, they are superior. And amongst those who follow Varnashrama, the Brahmanas are the leaders of the other three classes, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. And amongst the Brahmanas, those who are devotees of Lord Vasudeva, they are the topmost. And amongst those devotees of Vasudeva, also those who are pure devotees, they are the topmost amongst the best men. And then, while saying that, he says that and then he says, better than the humans are the demigods. And amongst the demigods, the best are Shiva and Brahma. He says that. And then he says, I am Lord Vasudeva. I am worshipable even by Brahma and Shiva. And the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, they are worshipable by me, he says. Whereas I worship the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. That means he says that even Brahma and Shiva worship me, but I worship Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Like that the Lord says. Rishabhadev says. And he says that you should always worship the sacred Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. That's what he teaches to his 100 sons. Another thing he teaches his sons, that young boys, all of your young boys, he says, when you are young, the blood is hot. You can easily become passionate and fight with one another. Therefore, I am appointing my eldest son as the king. And you should faithfully follow in his footsteps without becoming envious of him. Of course, he is not going to take all the kingdom and control you or lord over you. He will give you some section to rule. But whatever is given to you, you should be satisfied and contented, rather than become inimical to your own elder brother. And just like you hear about, in Aurangzeb's time, the father was put in the prison and the brothers were killed and things like that. Such things can happen in this world because of enmity and envy and competitive mentality. So he's teaching his sons to give up the competitive mentality and align with the Lord's scriptures and be submissive and obedient and cooperative with the eldest brother who will be posted as a king. Uh, Not only that, he also teaches them that when can you give up this enmity and we competition and all that? Only when you have a spiritual culture. So he teaches them, Nayam deho deho bhajam loke kashtan kaman arhati vidubhajam. He says, Thapodivyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhi dasmat brahmasokyam tvanantam. He says that in this world, everybody is doing tapasya, working very hard in this world. But you should work hard for the right cause. The right cause is to go back home, back to Godhead by purifying the heart. So you should direct your life in that direction, cleansing the heart. You see, children like to play, but parents want them to study. Similarly, the jivas like to do sense gratification, but Lord wants them to study scriptures and live according to the scriptures. It's the same mentality you will find. So a responsible life is painful sometimes, but one should be cheerful to be responsible. Who can do that? Only a person in Sattva-guna can be cheerful in fulfilling responsibilities. Otherwise, most people like to be irresponsible and casual and careless and just spend their life either in whimsical action or in lethargy. These two are very common, you find. To be lethargic, does it take any effort? And to act whimsically according to the way your mind drags you, is it difficult? It's very easy to go in that direction. But to be responsible and act as per the instructions of the superiors and to shirk off the lethargy and wake up and take initiative, that will require a life of responsibility. So human life is a life of responsibility. Animal life is for sense gratification. And if somebody lives like animals, then they don't make much progress in human life. They waste their whole human form of life. So therefore he told them, don't waste human life. Tapo divyam putraka. Oh, dear sons, be responsible in human life and perform spiritual duties, like going to the temple, seeing the darshan of the Lord, bowing down to the Lord, circumambulating the deity, offering of flower, offering of fruit, hearing the sacred scriptures, chanting the holy name, putting up festivals for the deities, and also performing Navavidha Bhakti. So these are all responsibilities in human life. And staying in the saintly association, performing one's duty. So one should do all these things. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki. So you can see Rishabhadev, he himself was responsible and exemplary. And he taught his sons to become responsible in human life. And he told, and one may ask, what will I gain by being responsible? So many people in the world are acting in sinful ways. They are enjoying life. What about me? He says, Tapo Divyam Putraka Sattvam Shuddhyet. If you live life according to scriptures responsibly, your heart will become purified, he says. See, if heart becomes purified, what is the result of that? Brahma Sokyam. You will get transcendental bliss. Whereas the sukham of this world is short-lived. It's temporary. It's only for a short while. It's like chewing gum. Chewing gum is smelling nice, tasting nice, but it doesn't last for a long time. But if you want a long-lasting taste, he says that is Brahma Sokyam. It's Amritam. 2.15, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says. Yam hena vyatiyantyete purusham purusharishava samadukka sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate. You will attain Amritatvam, he says. Amritatvam means everlasting bliss. Another place he says, Sarve pete yajna vido yajna kshapita kalmashaha yajna shishta amrita bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam. Yajna shishta amrita bhujo. The result of endeavoring to please Krishna is Amritatvam, Brahma Sokyam, everlasting bliss you will get. So the sons became obedient to father's instructions. He was a good father, exemplary father, and who also taught the father should give spiritual knowledge and spiritual culture. This is the duty of every father. Some people may give spiritual knowledge, but they may not give spiritual culture. What is the result of that? Then the sons become armchair speculators. Like in America, sometimes there is a round table conference on Jiva Goswami and great acharyas and all. They are smoking hookah in one hand. On the other hand, they are pounding on the table and arguing Dvaita, Advaita, Vasishta Advaita, Dvaita Advaita, Shuddha Advaita and all that. So they are armchair speculators means their head is very big, but they have no practice. So we not only want spiritual education, we want spiritual education and spiritual culture. So father should give both, actually, ideally speaking, to the children. Spiritual culture means sadachar, behavior. It also includes how we deal with the deities, how we deal with the devotees, how we deal with women, how we deal with children, how we deal with non-devotees, how we deal with animals and birds, how we deal with material nature, environment. All these things come in culture. Culture also includes the food we eat, the dress we wear, the behavior we show towards others, and our speech, and art culture, which includes drama, dance, painting. All these things are called as culture. So all these things should be utilized for glorification of Lord Vasudeva. Idam kipumsas tapasashrutasya vasvishtasya suktasya cha buddhidattayoho avichuto varta kavibhir nirupito yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. Uttama shloka gunanuvarnanam means glorification of Krishna. For that the culture should be used. So in this way, father should teach the children education, culture and devotion. The education and culture will lead to devotion if it's all based on the sacred scriptures in Guru Parampara. So education, culture, devotion. So that's what Rishabhadev gave his sons by being a good example himself. Ideal father, you see. Therefore, there is a verse he himself says that Guru nasasyat swajano nasasyat janani pita nasasyat janani nasasyat daivam natachyannapatishcha sasyat namo chayetet samupeta mrityum. He says one should not become a guru or a relative or a father or a mother or a demigod. One shouldn't become any of this, he says, unless you can liberate your dependents, he says. Liberate means you should, if you are a father, you should make your son or daughter go back to Godhead. If you are a mother, you should be able to give such a culture at home. Otherwise, one shouldn't become father or mother, like that he says. So it's a very big responsibility. Like, there is so much competition for the post in election time. But are you aware that when you become a prime minister or a chief minister or any executive head of the state, 1/6 of the karma of the citizens will come to you. And in the Kali Yuga Jivas, they don't do many pious activities. So, 1/6 of the bad karma is going to come. Can you imagine? So then one will be afraid to accept a post. So what should one ideally do? As soon as you are given a post, one should bring about a spiritual education and spiritual culture for the dependents. If you have done your part, then you will not be afflicted by that 1/6 of the karma. It will be burned away. And also, like Ambarish Maharaj trained his citizens so well that they all aimed not even in heaven, they aimed to go back to Godhead. They were pure devotees. Such a culture he gave. It was ideal, Rajarishi. Prajanam Pitruvatsalaha. It is said that he treated the praja like a father would treat the children. Like that he educated them. So ideal father is supposed to be like that. An ideal mother is supposed to be like Suniti. A mother who directed the son to saintly people and to Lord Vishnu. That's the ideal mother. The ideal mother also is that lady who is chaste to her husband. Prabhupada says a boy should be trained in brahmacharya, a girl should be trained in chastity. And when they marry, the progeny will be saintly, Prabhupada says. So, a chaste wife means she unnecessarily does not mix freely with other men. She is obedient, submissive, faithful to husband. And she knows her limits in dealing with people other than her husband. She is modest in her behavior, shy in her dealings. So nobody will come near. Prabhupada says if a woman is shy, men will be finding it difficult to approach her coming near. Prabhupada gives example. Once three Sethjis were walking in a street. And there was a scavenger who was cleaning the road. As soon as she saw this rich big people coming, she immediately moved to the side with her broomstick and stood in the side, covering her head. And those men were passing by, even they felt great respect for her. And then they passed by. And then afterwards, she started cleaning. So that goes to show her chastity. Although she is not a very high society woman, she may be a Shudrani, she may be cleaning On the other hand, Prabhupada says a woman wearing a miniskirt showing up in the street will be mistreated by other men also, will be dealt with by other men improperly. So, in this way, woman can receive dignity and respect by modest behavior and shy behavior, and chaste behavior. Traditionally, you will see that the girls were trained by their mothers, and the boy was trained in the Gurukula by the Guru. Generally, the parents will not keep the boy at home. Why? Brahmachari Gurukule vasan. Danto Guror Hitam. It says. Brahmachari Gurukule vasan. It doesn't say Grihe vasan. Because if the boy is staying at home, he is going to be pampered by the mother and father. Mother will tell the boy in the morning, if a boy gets up at 5 o'clock, she will say, Beta, why did you get up so early? Sleep till 8 o'clock. Like that. If the boy is working at night till 10 o'clock, mother will ask, Beta, you are working so late. Why don't you sleep? Boy will say, no, I am planning to work 2 more hours so I can earn 20 more thousand. She will say, no problem, work 4 more hours. He will get pampered and spoiled at home. You will see that she will, generally you will find at home one is encouraged to make money, and eat well, sleep well, enjoy luxurious life. The boy will get easily spoiled. He will not rise in the morning. On the other hand, if he is in brahmachari's Gurukule Vasan means morning, the Guru rings the bell. Immediately all the disciples get up. They run to whether you are son of king of Delhi or you are son of a farmer. Like Sudama was a poor Brahman. Krishna was, king eventually. But kings and prince and poor Brahmana, they lived together in Gurukula. There was no difference made, no discrimination. Everybody is treated equally there. Both have to get up and run in the morning to take a bath and come and chant the mantras and clean the ashram of Guru, milk the cow, bathe the cows, go out home to home, Babadi Bhikshandehi, collect the alms and come, and then serve the spiritual master, accept the order of Guru. So, in this way, Vasan Danto means he has to control his senses, control his mind. Guru or Hitam, live only for the pleasure of Guru, selflessly, and fulfill his orders and instructions. Study the scriptures and teach the scriptures, and perform yajna and teach yajna, lead a very pure life. So, if a boy has purified his mind and senses, is a proper brahmachari, and a woman has been trained by her mother to be chaste, you will see that in the Vedic culture, any procession goes, initially there will be a dozen girls, Kumaris, who will be carrying the kalash on their head. They are the first ones. You will see that. Then you find the Brahmana chanting Vedic mantras, then you find horses, elephants, and other people, crowd coming, everybody. But those Kumaris are given so much respect, you will see that. Because when after a man and woman come together in married life, that is also considered sacred, provided dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi partarshabha, he says. If they lead a pure life for procreating children, to beget children, to elevate in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there is contamination of sense gratification. So, the training was given like that, and such a lady who is trained from her childhood to do the household chores, to be religious, to be pious, to assist the elders, to be respectful, obedient, faithful, chaste, clean, and free from greed, always satisfied in whatever. If father is poor, your girl will be satisfied with whatever he is able to provide. If a father is rich, he may provide, very costly dresses and costly ornaments, she will be happy. But she will be willing to align with the parents in the early stage and later on with husband after marriage. She will not demand that, what is the use of you being my husband? You're a poor husband, let me marry another one. She will not go with somebody else. So nowadays it's very easy. You divorce one person and accept another one. It's condemned. So in this way, the mother and father can be like, mother can be like Suniti, I said. Suniti. Niti means she was very moral and ethical and free from envy. Actually, when Dhruva Maharaj was returning from the forest, Suniti went in a palanquin to bring him. So at that time, when she was sitting in the palanquin, she again came and she invited her other queen also, Surichi. You also come with me. You also sit. Let's both go together. He's not only my son, he is your son also. Just see how broad-minded she was. She had not even a tinge of envy. Not even a little bit envy. It's very rare actually for a woman not to be envious, not to be greedy, uh, not to be demanding. That's what the only possible by good training. So from childhood. Uh, now we are living in the modern times when people go to the shopping malls and purchase so many goods. You know, people have a tendency to accumulate things now, spend a lot of money. Now, people think now, unless I have 15 lakh per annum, 20 lakh per annum, I cannot run a family. People think like that nowadays. People. Actually, you need more money because our mind has hunger, mental hunger. There is too much of greed to accumulate too many things. Initially, you get a big house uh, because you cannot live in a small house. But after getting big house, you wonder how to fill it up. Then you get washing machine, then you get sofas, then you get different things and fill up the house. So extravagant lifestyle uh, eventually pushes people to go from India to abroad. Then you can make more money. And after going abroad, people think I will earn money and come back. But it is like kabaddi game. Kabaddi. You go there and you cannot come back. They catch you. They put you there only. Isn't it? Yeah. Many people go and they are unable to come back because you make so much money. You have seen the glitter and glamour and comfort and luxury abroad. And one is unable to come. So, of course, if one becomes Krishna conscious abroad, that's wonderful. But oftentimes people forget the spiritual goal of life and then they become stupid in money making and it becomes a greedy life. And eventually children don't even know who is Rama, who is Krishna, they don't know. What kind of life is that? You can only proudly say my children are abroad, but what are they? What is the quality of their life? That is to be seen, isn't it? So, therefore, for a woman not to be greedy, not to be envious, not to be unchaste, all these things is not very easy. It won't come without good training by the superiors. Therefore, when man is trained in the brahmacharya ashrama, woman is trained by Matajis, these type of qualities should be emphasized. One time, one girls teacher told the girls, she made 4 groups and told, take any woman of your choice and you have to speak about her. So one group chose Indira Gandhi. Another group chose Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai. Like that they chose and they said, we will speak on these heroines, how women should be bold, women should. So later on, they were asking me, wow, is it wrong to make groups? I said, you make groups, but teach from Shastra. Go to the Shastra. Shastras are quoting such amazing examples like Suniti. So we should bring about the qualities that Shastras teach. When Draupadi when Draupadi and the queens of Krishna met in Kurukshetra, so of course Pandavas were talking to Krishna. And Krishna also later on was speaking to the sages. And the women, they all went to one side. So Satyabhama was asking a question to Draupadi. She asked Draupadi, see, Satyabhama told, I have one husband, Dwarkadish, Krishna. And I really wonder how to attract him, how to keep him happy. I'm wondering. But you have 5 husbands. How do you manage? How do you make all the 5 Pandavas happy? So Draupadi is speaking. In Mahabharata, it is there, if you read it. She says what kind of qualities a woman possesses. So Draupadi is giving a lecture on that. So these kind of sections should be taken. She's telling a woman sleeps later and gets up early. When she is at home, in the presence of the husband, she dresses well. And she cooks very nice foodstuffs. She wears very good ornaments. She is always cheerful in disposition. She is very kind, considerate, flexible, adaptable, understandable. She speaks sweetly to please the hearts of elders as well as the husband, everybody. She raises children like the eyelids for protecting the eyes. So, and when the husband is away, She lived like an ascetic. Ascetic means like a sage. Huh? She's very austere. She doesn't decorate herself in the absence of the husband. Instead, she is spending more time in the puja room, chanting more, reading the scriptures more, performing more spiritual vratas. Taking all those things. Mm. When the husband returns, she gets up and goes towards the husband, welcome him. Mm. She understands the heart of the husband, and she fulfills his desires by feeding him the right type of food. So a lot of things she says. Sometimes women, when they read these sections, they say, so you mean to say women are meant only for the enjoyment of the husband? People argue. Actually, by being so submissive to the husband, the woman occupies the heart of the husband. And then the husband also becomes benevolent, very generous, very kind to the wife. And he keeps her very well. And he keeps the children also very well. And this is a Shastric secret of how a wife can conquer the husband. Not that you have to dance on the head of the husband to conquer him. There is a method of conquering the heart of the husband. So, husband should also be highly qualified. If husband is not religious minded, spiritual minded, therefore Chanakya says, Rinakarta pita shatruhu. And then, or that second line says, Bharya ta priyavadini aranyam tena gantavyam yata aranyam yata griham. Like that one shloka, Chanakya says that a father is considered an enemy if he leaves debt to the sons. You may ask, if father had debts, why should son be caught? Son didn't do any mistake. But what is the reasoning Shastras give? If father leaves property, will the son not claim it? So if the son can claim father's property, he also should claim the debt also. That is the Shastric argument. Like Chidaranjan Das, Prabhupada says, his father died insolvent. Insolvent means bankrupt. He left a very big debt. But Chidaranjan Das, he became a very big political person, and he earned a lot actually. In his time, Prabhupada says he was earning a lot, some 25,000 per month in those days, which will be like several lakhs of rupees per month now. So Chidaranjan Das, paise to paise, he paid back, Prabhupada says. He did not keep any debt of his father. And in case your father was a debtor and the son is unable to pay the money, then people will harass the son. You can see that. And therefore, such a father is considered like an enemy to the family who keeps a big amount of debt like that. And also some fathers become irresponsible. There are some men who have daughters, they have 3-4 daughters and 1 or 2 sons. But the father is an irresponsible fool. He may be a drunkard. He may be a chain smoker. So then he becomes a great enemy to the family also. He is irresponsible. One boy was telling, this one boy wanted to join the ashram. We generally don't take boys in the ashram unless they fulfill the duties to family first. Get your sisters married and settled. Give enough money to your parents. Till last breath, your parents should not go hungry. They should have enough food till the last breath. Then only you can join. So we are very strict. But one boy said, Prabhu, till now I've given them 25 lakhs and my father has spent everything in drinking. Drinking, smoking, and he plays gambling. So he said, how much should I give? I said, the biggest mistake you did is you gave him. Then he said, you only told I should give. I said, no, you should put a fixed deposit and keep it in mother's name. Because if mother is taken care, this fellow will not have any money to drink or smoke. So the irresponsible father. There are people like that, irresponsible fathers. Yeah. Similarly, mother is considered irresponsible when she becomes attracted to another man other than her husband. Now, because people are watching Hollywood, Bollywood movies, and they are also watching many serials in TV, people's minds have become very polluted. So, women are thinking, why should I be chaste to this man? He is not a very great hero. She thinks I have some other hero. I knew somebody in my college days, and that boy was so good. I was not allowed to marry by my parents. So they still keep in touch with somebody on phone. They derive some sense gratification and keeping in touch like that. And if some quarrel happens in the family breaks out, then she leaves the husband, divorces him, and then marries another man unchastely. So then such a woman is considered the enemy for the family because she has a grown-up daughter, grown-up son. Like there was, in those days, there was one family in Pune, one millionaire, big multi-millionaire. We can say billionaire, we can say like billionaire, very big business man. So he had a grown-up son and grown-up daughter. And his wife also used to come to temple also. And he also used to come to temple on and off occasionally. But this fellow used to go for jogging in the morning. So another woman, a jogging partner, another lady, he was 62 or something, and that girl was 24. But the girl knew that he's a multi-millionaire. So she jogged with him, and then one day they were sitting in a park bench. She started alluring him, and he also got allured. He went to her place. She was a single woman. He got allured, and she extracted many crores from him. 10 crores, 20 crores, 30 crores. She was getting signature from him and looting money. When the wife came to know, she got broken down, and all his business friends were spitting at him. They said, "Look at you! What a shame! What's your age? You are 62. You have a grown-up daughter and son. You have to get them married and settled in life. What nonsense are you doing?" He says, "No, no, no. What can I do? That girl, she likes me very much. She says I look like so and so cinema actor." So she's looting money. He has become slave of that woman. He's attached to that woman. He is unable to give up his attachment, and she's extracting money from him. So in this way, irresponsible father or irresponsible mother. Actually, according to Vedic literature, if you read in Artha Shastra, Chanakya quotes from the Vedas that if a woman doesn't undergo sahagamanam, sahagamanam means entering the fire. It's not that women were pushed into fire. Certain women would enter the fire who wanted to go with the husband to the next destination, same destination. They would go. But there are also examples of women who didn't want to go with the husband immediately. They wanted to live. They were allowed to live. For example, Kunti and Madhuri, Madhuri said, "I am going with him and you stay back and take care of the children." So she stayed. You will see that. There are examples like that. On the other hand, your friend Gandhari went with her husband. You will see that. She entered the fire. In fact, Chanakya quotes from the Vedic literature that a woman can also remarry if she is a widow, if she had no son at all. If she had no son or daughter, she's young. Sometimes it so happens that somebody married at 25, 26 and the husband passed away in a couple of years due to some reason. Then she's allowed to remarry also. But if a woman has children to take care of her, at that time, if she marries another man, that is like adultery, Prabhupada says. Because sons and daughters are growing up, they will take care of her. But why is she turning to another man? That means she has not become spiritually advanced. Because you get a higher taste in spiritual life, you will not want to again get into family life with another man. Krishna is the pati of everybody. Krishna is called Satvatam Pati. He is the ultimate husband of all the jivas. If you lost one person, then you accept Krishna as pati and go on with your life. So, traditionally in Vedic life, if a woman is a widow, she would shave herself up, wear white sari, just like this Jain sadhvis you see. Correct, no? If somebody sees a Jain sadhvi, you feel like only folding palms and respecting them. You don't feel allured by seeing a sadhvi in white dress and shaven. Correct, no? Like that. Or if a woman is single and she has no husband now and she's very young and no children also, then she's allowed to marry another husband for the sake of protection, so that no other man will trouble her. For the sake of that, she will be protected like that. That is the whole purpose actually. Otherwise, in the Bhagavatam, there is an example in 10th canto, like the lightning, if you see, sometimes the lightning is in one cloud. After some time, another cloud. It's just moving. So this is called as Pumshchali. Pum means man, Chali means Chalna. Pumshchali means a woman who goes from one man to another man. Okay, this fellow has a lot of money, hang around him, get money. And that fellow is exhausted now, kick him away, go to another man, get more money. So that woman is called as Pumshchali. See, Sanskrit, easily you can decode the meaning in Sanskrit like this, Pumshchali. A woman should not be unchaste like that, going from one person to another person. So, if a woman does it, then the children become very broken-hearted. They see that mother is not pure in her behavior. Now, in the modern times, in the colleges, traditionally you will see, in our times, all the girls will sit on one side, boys will sit on another side. a respectable distance will be there between the two. And even if they talk, it will be very polite and respectful to each other. But now, nobody knows who is a girl, who is a boy. Everybody is wearing pant shirt now. You know, everybody is sitting together, mixing, freely like that. So the result of that is the bad culture of, they say we are like equal, we are like friends, anybody can talk to anybody. But by creation of God, women are made emotional. Their psychophysical nature is one of being emotional. And men are rational. So free mixing will definitely cause damage in character. And which is happening. You can see that in the modern day society. So therefore, the woman and the man and woman in the home are very important. If the woman is pure and the man is trained in brahmachari principles to control mind and senses, the child will be saintly. Powerful children will be born in such families. Therefore, nowadays in our youth preaching also, we find it very difficult to get very serious boys who are spiritually inquisitive. The reason is the quality of society is going down. It's becoming almost like two-legged animals. Because people are not pure. Like for example, one boy is coming and crying, probably I am becoming Krishna conscious. In my village, my father is keeping some touch with some other woman. So how can I instruct my father? I said, hey, your father is older than you. How can you instruct? It's difficult for you. Maybe your grandfather should instruct him. His grandfather has passed away. Maybe you should bring your father to temples and brahmachari can instruct. Of course, brahmachari cannot tell him don't do this, but he can give him Krishna consciousness and elevate him to higher taste. And then he's saying, because father is doing this and mother is keeping in touch with another man. She's saying, you are keeping in touch with that lady, I will keep in touch with another man. So both are becoming like cats and dogs. You understand, no? So such a family becomes a horrible family. It is dismantled completely. Nobody can be happy in such a family. Similarly, he says, Rupavati Bharya Shatru. If a woman is beautiful, she becomes the enemy for the husband. Now, a woman may say, what wrong did I do by being beautiful? God has created me beautiful. Why should I be blamed? Actually, woman is not blamed. A man who is attached to a beautiful wife, that man's attachment is blamed. Example is Uttanapad. Correct, no? Uttanapad became attached to whom? Suruchi. Due to which, even though his son is going to forest, he's not able to stop him. He's seeing my 5-year-old son is very broken-hearted. He's not protecting the son. He's allowing the son to go to forest. That much attachment he had. So mental attachment to wife. You can see that. Pururava was also very attached to Urvashi. He became practically mad. Pururava is born in Chandravamsh. Do you know that? He's a very famous king. Such a great lineage is coming. Still, he fell for the attraction of Urvashi and he became very polluted in his consciousness for a period of time. And afterwards, he performs yajna. Lord Vishnu appears and he's telling Lord Vishnu. Vishnu asked him, what do you want? He said, I want Urvashi, he's saying. Even though Vishnu is coming and giving darshan. Vishnu said, oh, even after seeing my beautiful form, you are not attracted to me. Now I will give you Urvashi in such a way that you will get a solid kick. So then Vishnu told him, here Urvashi will come now. So Urvashi came. She was sitting with a few other men. When he saw her, he went and cried to her. She said, why did you ditch me? You ran away, left me. Please come. Urvashi said, yes, there is Vishnu's order is there. So only one day in a year, I will come to your place. And throughout the year, I won't be there. So he said, at least one day in a year, I'll be with her. He thought like that. So that one day he was waiting for, hankering. When will the day come? When will the day come? At last that one day would come. Again, she would be with him and go away. Then he has to wait for one more year. And he got so frustrated in this style of getting her association. So you may wonder that he prayed to Vishnu for Urvashi and he got Urvashi and it seems he enjoyed life. No, he didn't enjoy life. You should read 11th canto, 25th chapter, Aila Gita. There comes the truth. How he was frustrated because of attachment. Attachments are frustrating, mental attachments. Therefore, we should elevate mental attachment to spiritual attachment. So Srila Prabhupada says, when he got his first wife, she was chaste, she was faithful, she was obedient, everything was all right. But Prabhupada says, despite her good behavior, I was not attracted to her. She was not good looking. Sometimes the husband is not satisfied with the wife just because she may be Gunavati, but not Rupavati. Yeah? So then he told his father, in those days, sometimes if a man doesn't get a child from one woman, he was allowed to accept a second one, isn't it? So when his father came to understand the mind of his son, the father told, Beta, you are not attracted to your wife. That is a great blessing for you. You can take sannyas very easily after you cross 50, 60. Huh? And Prabhupada gratefully remembers that and says, thanks to my father. If he allowed me to marry another beautiful wife, I don't know whether I would have got sannyas, he says. So the whole point is, a woman becomes enemy to the husband who becomes attached to her. Prabhupada said, in ISKCON society, uh, even the God brothers, God sisters, sometimes they do some services together, but they should not become attracted to each other. They should become attracted to Krishna. So he told the boys in America, you should see your God sisters like gopis. If you see them as gopis, gopis are meant for whose satisfaction? Krishna's. So you can't consider, you go to Mayapur and see Lalita, Vishaka, Tungavidya, Angadevi, Sudevi, Chitra, and all of them. You cannot think they are meant for my enjoyment. If you think they are meant for your enjoyment, then we are like Shankachuda, correct, no? Shankachuda, what he did, he was trying to capture the gopis and take, and he was finished. Or like that other fellow, who was that? Kila Kila. Huh? Dvivida, yeah. Dvivida monkey, isn't it? So if we think beautiful girls are meant for my enjoyment, then we become like Dvivida gorilla or like Shankachoda, then we become punishable, isn't it? Actually, Krishna is their master because Krishna is a non-exploitative Lord. Huh? And we have the exploitative mentality. We have an enjoying mentality. Therefore, that enjoying mentality is contempt actually. Huh? So you will find that Prabhupada said you should consider your God sisters like gopis. He said, don't see them as object of your enjoyment. But even if a husband got a very good-looking wife, instead of becoming attached to her, he can elevate her in Krishna consciousness. He can elevate her. Then husband and wife both can become, it's there in the Bhagavatam itself. Yat sankulam haripadanati matra drishtair vaidur yamara kata hema mayir vimanair yesham brihat kaditata smita shobhi mukyaha krishnatmana naraja ada durutsma yadyaihi. That verse says, in the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha airplanes are filled with men and women. The men are like clouds and the women are like lightning, it is said. They look very beautiful. They have such costly dresses, such ornaments, such smiles, such cheerfulness, and they don't have even an iota of defect in their body. In this world, somebody has a very tall and beautiful looking personality, but their eyes have squint eyes. That's a defect. Or somebody has a very beautiful face, only the face you see. When you see the body is like an elephant. Isn't it? In this world, some defect is always there. Whereas in spiritual world, the bodies are well formed and there is not a single defect in the body. Delicately formed body, men, women, both. But the men and women are not attracted to each other. They are attracted to the service to Lord Vishnu, Lakshmi Narayan. It is said that is spiritual world. This verse is saying that. So they are charmed by Lord's service and they are together serving husband and wives, but they are so rejoicing, so much rejoicing in devotional service that they don't feel mad mutual attachment to each other, like that he says. So Prabhupada says this point also. In case a man finds, Prabhupada says in one place, a woman is like that lightning I told you, moving from one man to another man, unchaste wife, that is due to her passion and ignorance. Then the man should engage her in devotional service. Then she will engage her passion in devotional service. It's like you will find there are many women who have done high education and they have some passion for some field. But if they come to devotional service, they expand this movement very powerfully. You have seen that? They preach and bring so many people to the movement very powerfully. So both men and women have passion, and that passion should be converted into compassion for the suffering souls. And when does passion become compassion? When you connect to Krishna. Passion plus Krishna consciousness equal to compassion. So, and also he says, the son is considered, if a son is a foolish son, then he is a great enemy also. The son is a great enemy. Who is a foolish son? He is not a bhaktiman, he is not a gunavan. There is no good qualities, there is no bhakti also. He's a muff. There are some sons you find sitting in a tea shop, drinking chai, reading newspaper, eating tobacco and spitting, and talking about political schemes, and living on the money of the father. You've seen sons like that. They have no good qualities. Neither is interested in spirituality, nor is interested in, even a dharmic life also. He's actually living a wanton life, that type of life. Or a son who brings ill fame to the father, like Vena. He's bringing ill name to the father. Such sons like Duryodhana, he brought so much bad reputation to the Kaurava dynasty, or Vena also. Such a son is also a great enemy to the family. So from all these things, we can know how to be a good mother, good father, good son, good wife. So Bhagavatam and all the Vedic literatures have so many illustrations to help us understand. So sometimes we can sit and do a research. Who are all good sons? Yudhishthir Maharaj, such a great son. Pandava dynasty, isn't it? Prahlad, what a great son. He delivered his sinful father simply by becoming a pure devotee. Dhruva, such a great son, brought fame to the entire dynasty, isn't it? So we can think of many great sons like that. Similarly, Yadu, the great son who brought Krishna to this world. Bhagirath, who brought Ganges to this world. What a wonderful person. In his dynasty, if you see, before him, Dilip, and before him, Anshuman, before that, if you go up, so many kings tried to bring Ganga, but Bhagirath was the most successful and most humble fellow. Most humble. And actually, he had to tackle with the ego of many people. When he wanted to bring Ganga, actually, Ganga was commenting that you are asking me to come on the Jata of Shiva. Jata is not bathed for many, many years, no? Jata. So Shiva became angry. Hey, what did you say? Yeah. Then Bhagirath did penance for Shiva and pacified Shiva. Finally, Shiva agreed to accept Ganga. Then after Ganga came to his Jata and was flowing out, and she said, you go ahead, I will walk behind you. And Ganga, being playful, she was moving water like this, this way, that way, that way. And then Janu Rishi was sitting with his Achaman Patra doing some Gayatri, and because she was flowing like this, she hit that water pot and it fell off. Janu Rishi became angry. Hey, who is this girl who is so careless in dealing with me? She immediately drank all the Ganga and kept inside himself. And he was wondering, where was she? Ganga, she was coming behind me. Then Janu Rishi had swallowed her. Then he fell at the feet of Janu Rishi and pacified him, pleased him, everything. He said, okay. He said, I will only release Ganga from my ears, provided Ganga agrees to be called as my daughter. Her name will be Jahnavi. She said, no problem, you release me now at any cost. So he released after that. So Bhagirath Prayatnam, if you see, amazing it is. How Bhagirath brought Ganga to this world. Wonderful. So the Bhagirath brought glory to the entire dynasty. So one should, like Lord Ramachandra, Raghukula Tilakam, we call him. Raghukula Tilakam means he is like, see in your face, what is the most prominent thing people observe on your face? Tilak. If you put a bindi or a tilak, people see. So he's Raghukula Tilakam. In the entire Raghu dynasty, Lord Rama is like a Tilakam for the whole dynasty. He brought such fame. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada brought so much fame to Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. All over the world, he spreaded the glories. So, following in footsteps of great sons and daughters, one should bring such a good. Therefore, it is said, in a forest, if there is one tree with a fragrant flower, that fragrance spreads in the entire forest, it is said. Similarly, one good son, he can influence the whole family lineage. Seeing him, mother, father may become devotee, brother, sister may become devotee. Many, many generations of family members may become devotees like that. They can get association of Krishna consciousness through that one son or daughter. At the same time, sometimes in a forest, in one tree, two branches are upbraiding like this, because of which a fire spark is produced. Then that burns down the whole jungle. So Duryodhana is like that fire spark producing tree. He burned down the entire race of Kauravas. On the other hand, Yudhishthir Maharaj or Parikshit, they brought fame to the entire dynasty. You can see that. So by studying these things, all of us in our lives, we can think how to be a ideal father, ideal mother, ideal son or a daughter, and ideal wife. So these principles should be taken to heart, and We need actually, like, if you want to keep milk, you need a glass. Without glass, how can you keep milk? Similarly, the glass is the sanskaras. Then Krishna consciousness can stay. But sanskaras are not there, then even Krishna consciousness, you get it, you cannot hold it. For holding it, you need sattva-guna, good behavior. So that good behavior is possible by understanding the ideal roles that we all have to play in a family, in a community, in a society, and in especially Krishna conscious society. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.